So I had the pleasure and the honor of checking out an insane movie at the pre-screening on Thursday evening. It's called Boy Kills World. You might have seen the trailers. And let me just set the scene for you, because it stars Bill Skarsgård as Boy, and he is a deaf mute whose family was murdered by a prominent family who engages in this practice called the culling. All right. And he is then trained by a mysterious shaman in order to become this ultimate weapon and to exact revenge on this particular family. Now, one of the stars of this film we have in studio right now, and that is the legend, Sharlto Copley. Welcome to KFM 94.5.
How's it, man? Thanks for having me. Yeah.
So
I think legend is a bit strong, but if we're using it in the term of like we used to use it in Joburg, that's legend, bro, and that's okay. I'll take it if it's just used as a slang phrase.
No, well, I think all of them encompasses you, because whenever somebody from South Africa makes it on a global stage, we're going to claim you. We're going to brag about you. Whatever movie you're going to be in, Sharlto, we're going to be like, you see that guy over there? He's South African. He's one of ours. So I just got to say how proud we are of you and all the work that you've done so far.
Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
So
I appreciate that.
On this movie, a lot of adjectives are used, like it's unhinged, it's insane, it's like it's a violent fever dream. Now, for you, you usually play characters that are a little bit unhinged and on the edge. And when you have actors that perform certain roles and then you meet them in person, then they're nothing like that character. But something about your performances tells me that Sharlto Copley is a little bit on the edge. Is that a correct assumption?
I don't know. I guess you have to ask like my really close friends and family, because who can be totally objective about themselves? I mean, I think it's a great outlet. Performing for me is a great outlet to release that side of yourself. And I suppose more when I say that side of yourself, really I'm referring to there's a certain, for me in performance, there's a playfulness that I relate to. I love the actors when I was growing up, like Eddie Murphy, Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, who performed with a certain playfulness. No matter what they were doing. I guess a lot of the characters I've ended up doing are darker than what those guys are doing. But that's sort of just also a product of what was out there and what kind of movies are being made. I would like to do more of that kind of lighter stuff as well. But I think there's definitely a sort of a natural kind of playfulness, I guess, that I have in my personality. Hopefully not as dark as any of the characters.
And when you are on set of these various films that you have played and these very interesting characters that you've performed as, do you get that freedom, that license to have all that playfulness and the improvisation? Or on this movie particular, was the director particular, or did they give you that freedom to play?
I've sort of, since I did District 9, which was completely improv, I became, I guess, reasonably known as the guy who can improv. And you sort of, generally speaking, on most films I do, they let me loose in some way or another. I've got Monkey Man coming out now with Dev Patel, my friend. I did that movie for him. And he just said, listen, come, just come and do your thing and just have, I'll let you go, And it was the same here, where there were a bunch of scenes where it was just like, just
do you?
Yeah, just do whatever you think kind of would work for this. And it's my favorite type of performing too, is the improv stuff. It's super fun.
Do you have a unique process when you prepare for these roles?
Not really, no. I mean, it's just one of those things where, especially if you're going to improv around a character, you just have to kind of get yourself out of the way, I suppose. If you think about it, or for me, improv is especially like that. I will prepare ideas, but usually that's like on the morning or even between takes. I'm like, okay, I can try something around this, or after, So I am preparing, I guess, but more spontaneously between takes.
With this movie, with a South African production company stepping up to fund it, with it being shot entirely in Cape Town, with a lot of South African actors featured in this film and also crew, how does that make you feel as a South African actor who's now also made it on a global stage? Do you feel a sense of pride that, a movie of this scale was done in South Africa?
Very much. What's particularly different about this one, obviously District 9 we shot all here, back in the day. But what's different here is the money is coming from South Africa, which this is by far the biggest budget film that a South African company has ever funded by a long way. I'm not allowed to say how much it is, but it was. When I heard, I was like, no, but that's not, South African companies don't spend that on movies. You know, that's like, it just is unheard of. And so in Tiba Pictures, Simon and Wayne, the local producers, they really were the proper bosses of the thing. It wasn't a case of just servicing the film here and having the crew do an amazing job. We've known for a while that we have world-class crews here. But a company starting to take a gamble in really becoming a sort of a global movie media player, we've just never really seen that. And so that's actually the main reason why I did the movie. It's not a massive role in the film, but I was like, I really want to support you guys, you know.
That's amazing. And you've got to now work, obviously, with the best of the best in terms of South African talent as well as across the world. Can we take it back a few years when you started stepping on the international stage and acting opposite some big names that we've obviously seen? In those initial days, was there like damn, that's Matt Damon, damn, that's Bradley Cooper and Liam Neeson, that is, that's Josh Brolin? Or did you kind of step onto set quite confidently to do your thing?
The vast majority of the time, weirdly, it became quite normal quite fast. There was a day where I, quite early on in my career, I did this movie Maleficent with Angelina.
Yes.
And it's not in the movie, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know which way around, but I had to kiss Angelina. I was playing her true love in it. And of all the things, of all the moments where I was kind of like, and my brother happened to be, he was performing, he's the singer-songwriter of Hot Water here in Cape Town. And he was on set with me. And he happened to be in London. He was touring there, and he came to visit me, and they changed the schedule, and he just spent the afternoon watching me kissing Angelina Jolie. And he was like, dude, what is going on with your life? And I was like, I have no idea. Like after Vickers, I was like, okay, I'm going to do little weird characters now suddenly. So that was definitely a moment where I was like, okay, this is really weird now. But most of the time, it's been good. It's been pretty normal, and I haven't had any moments. I mean, the most kind of weirdly sort of starstruck I was meeting Dwight Schultz, who played the original Murdoch.
Yes,
where it was really emotional for me.
Was there pressure around that?
Not really, but just it was the fact that he signed off on my version of Murdoch. I just felt really good about, and. Yeah, it's been an interesting ride. I can say that. I mean, it is. When I think back to my early days in South Africa in the business, and thinking of all these famous people, well, Charlize had cracked it, and it was like, oh, maybe I'd work on movies. Maybe we could get Charlize to read this or look at it. And now I know these people, and I'm sort of in that circle, I suppose. And it's I'm very blessed. Yeah, it's amazing how easily you just sort of shift. But every now and then, I do have moments where I pinch myself.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, like, me too. I would be thinking, like, is my breath okay to kiss Angelina? How many takes are we going to do of this kind of thing,
No, I think I did that pretty smoothly, I have to say. I was like, it's one of those things where, like, do not show any weakness.
Yes.
Like, you best be as smooth as possible.
Oh,
so hopefully, I don't know, but it's not in the movie, so who knows? It's probably a complete disaster. No, they changed the story. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. Are you thinking of maybe, a lot of actors also, they start transitioning into behind the camera? Are you thinking maybe of doing more writing?
Very much. I've written a bunch of projects, and I actually started behind the camera directing and writing and doing stuff like that. So I definitely plan to move behind the camera soon.
Oh, that's fantastic. Finally, with Boy Kills World, I mean, I thought that I've seen everything in terms of like violence and action. And I'm like, there's nothing that surprises me anymore. But still in this movie, you managed to get me with some of that visceral action. What would you say is a unique takeaway for the audience in this movie in particular?
I never sort of like to prescribe to audiences, or try and say you must look at this for this reason or that reason. But I do think in this case, if you like this kind of wacky, crazy action, it's very intense with the kind of video game type violence, which is very different from a serious violent movie. I think people will enjoy it. but it's intense. It's an intense experience, as you know.
Well, Sharlto, thank you so much for coming through and sharing with us some of your time and your experience with this movie. I hope that people go out and see this. It is absolutely fantastic, from the comic relief of the fact that it's a deaf mute, so the inner dialogue we get to experience through a voice that our lead character chooses, which is a video game voice.
Exactly, he chooses this like super cool video game voice. It's really fun in that way. You know, it's a fun time at the movies.
And it really is entertaining. Well done on this movie. It is absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it. It opens at cinemas this weekend, so please do yourself a favor and go and check it out. Sharlto, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope I didn't screw up this interview. I think I'm screwing this interview up. Oh my God, I'm speaking my thoughts.
Player
I'm
one
sorry.
wins.
Player. Oh my God.
Fatality.
The most music
for your workday
with EB Inglis, KFM.
Yeah, 94.5.